Hi, my name is Gina Beck and I am performing in Jacques Brel is Alive and Well and Living in Paris at the Charing Cross Theatre. And I am having tea with Wilma. For those of you who have not heard of Jacques Brel, he was a composer in the 70s who composed and performed his own songs. He was originally from Belgium, but then he moved to Paris, so all the songs are in French or Flemish. But obviously there are translations, translated by Mort Schumann in the 70s. Anyway, this production, this show, isn't really a show, it's more a review. So it's just all the songs, one after the other, with no kind of correlation. And we like to think of them as just little slices of life, basically. So little snippets of different, there is different themes in it. So there is a kind of war section dealing with different songs about the wars. And but our director said earlier that these songs are sort of basically all the things in your head that you're thinking, but you don't say. All the things that you're feeling that you don't say. That's basically Jacques Brel to a T. His songs are very emotive. Sorry, just touched the microphone there. They're about, really kind of a broad variety of themes. Love, heartbreak, destruction, war, death, everything, all the really cheery sides of life. So yeah, you'll be in for an interesting and maybe sometimes dark evening of entertainment. One of them in the show is performed in French, Ne me quitte pas, his most famous song, and there's another song in Flemish. Some parts of it are Flemish, but some parts of it English. So it's not, you won't be just sat there going, what the hell's happening? So basically, there's four of us, and we play, well, my character is called Woman 2, which has been a great long ambition of mine to play Woman 2. And one day maybe I'll work my way up to Woman 1, who knows? So we're just anonymous people who basically change into different characters every single song. So don't think that there's any kind of correlation between each song. We're not the same characters. We immediately start again, a new glimpse of a new life. We have the wonderful David Bird, who played my father in The Kissing Dance, which some of you may have seen. He is one of the finest musical theatre performers that I've ever worked with in terms of his acting ability, because he can make you laugh and then cry in the same instant, basically. And he's got this amazing, rich, emotive voice, which really is fitting for Brel. Brel. I've become very colloquial now. I just say Brel. That's it. And then there's the amazing Eve Policarpo, who I've never met and I've never worked with before, but I have worked with her brother Peter. She is Greek and has the soul of the kind of European sound to her voice that is so perfect for Brel as well. And she's such a fantastic actress. She has a lot of the more emotional kind of reflective songs in the show. Basically, she manages to break your heart in an instant when you're watching her sing these songs. But also she joins in with us in all the fun songs as well. She's got a great spirit. And then finally Daniel Boyce, who I've never worked with in a show. We've been sort of skirting around each other doing concerts together, different concerts we've found ourselves in together, but we've never actually worked together, so this has been great, and we've really hit it off. He's fantastic, obviously got a great voice, but is bringing parts that you might not have seen of his acting ability to this show. So I think it's been a challenge for all of us, but it's been great getting to work with them. I've just come back from America, where I was very lucky to go and be able to do Wicked over there. It was really fun, quite challenging, because I had to do the whole show in an American accent, which I thought that I'd be able to just easily do, but after saying the words for 2 years in a British accent, it was very hard to retrain my brain to say it in an American accent. And also, I couldn't really be the same character that I was over here. I had to be an American Glinda, so that was a real challenge, having to suddenly sort of change different aspects of the character that naturally came with doing the American accent. And also there were some line changes, there was some different blocking. I mean, I was kept on my toes for the first few months. But it was brilliant, touring around, and the audiences in America were so appreciative, and they were a little bit more raucous than they are over here. I think because we have a lot of Europeans watching the show in London who maybe English isn't their first language, but in America, the towns that I went to are predominantly just, full of American English speakers, all growing up with The Wizard of Oz, all loving all the in-jokes. So yeah, that was great. But I was really, some of my fans flew all the way over to see me. Two girls flew over twice, which was really amazing. I was so honoured and touched that they did that. So thank you to you. Personally, for me, I kept, kind of the truth of the character, but she becomes, because in England we don't really have the cheerleader stereotype. In England, the Glinda, for me personally, is more of a kind of posh, kind of finishing school brat, more of a kind of like daddy bought me a pony type person. Whereas obviously they don't have that type in America. They have a more of a cheerleader, most popular girl in school, like really like peppy, kind of really, oh my god, type girl. So that's how I played it. Number 1. If you were going to name a pet after a musical theatre character, what would you choose? Ooh, well, I've never had a pet. If I did, I would have a cat, and I would call it Jemima. How stagey is that? Number 2. If your friends were going to write a musical about you, what do you think it would be called? Ooh, that's a good one. I think it would be called Dimple, the musical. I'm just being silly. Number 3. Have you had any memorable on-stage disasters? Oh, God, so many. I've fallen over several times in ball gowns. Luckily, when the lights were quite dim, so no one would notice. Brushed myself off. I've forgotten the words. I'm sure some of you have been in there in the audience when I've forgotten the words before. Always hideously embarrassing. I remember, I think Louise Dearman mouthed the words of Popular to me once during the show. That was great. That's probably one of the worst times of my life. Number 4. Do you have any dream roles you would like to play? Yes, I do. I would love to play Maria in West Side Story, and Mary Poppins, and Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady, and anything else? No, that's probably about it for the while. I think, unfortunately, I might be too old for all of those characters now. Those days may have gone. And finally, if you could be the opposite sex for the day, what theatre role would you play? I would play... I can't decide. I think it would be Valjean. I mean, those songs. I mean, it would just be amazing to start the show and then do that massive journey. I mean, it would be exhausting. I probably only want to do it once, but it would be amazing. I'd love to just have John Owen Jones's voice as well inside my voice when I was the man. So that'd be great. Thanks. Thank you so much for joining me with Tea with Wilma. I'd love it if you had come to see Jacques Brel is Alive and Well in Paris at the Charing Cross Theatre. We will be performing from October the 16th until November the 22nd. Tickets available online. Bye!